Casablanca project aimed to document the wreck of the USS Ommaney Bay, one of the escort carriers built to support the main US carrier fleet and to provide air cover for convoy vessels during the Second World War. Built using an existing commercial ship hull, the Ommaney Bay was constructed in only 3 months. Deployed in 1944, she was involved in action over Mariana, Palau, and the Philippines before sinking as a result of a kamikaze attack in January 1945. The approach of a single Yokosuka P-1Y bomber was shielded by glare from the late afternoon sun. This allowed the plane to head directly for the bow, clipping the tower before crashing into the starboard side of the carrier just behind the tower itself. Upon impact, the kamikaze released 2 bombs. The first detonated within the hangar deck. However, the second passed through the hangar deck to the levels below, significantly rupturing the firefighting water main. Without significant water pressure to control fires, the blaze rapidly spread to fuel and ammunition. With the fire out of control, the order to abandon ship was given, and the ship was later scuttled through a torpedo from the US destroyer Burns. The Casablanca project had faced numerous delays. Originally scheduled in 2020, the global COVID pandemic pushed things back a few years. A revised trip in 2023 was abandoned while underway due to safety concerns, so it was some relief when the trip finally went ahead in 2025. The wreck has been dived previously, but due to the depth and the strong currents, bottom times on the wreck have been limited, meaning much of it is still left to explore. The wreck discovered is the bow section, with the midship and stern sections still to be located. Given the extent of damage during the attack and the sinking, the bow section is still in relatively good condition, lying inverted at a depth of around 120 meters. The bow sits proud of the seabed and both anchors are still in place. However, the wooden flight deck section has long since disintegrated. The starboard side of the wreck contains a large debris field, with wreckage scattered from the anti-aircraft sponsons, as well as the conning tower itself. The tower appears to have collapsed and been crushed during the sinking, with a number of portholes showing its new position on the seabed. The bow section has been detached from the remainder of the ship's hull. The lack of a visible rear section by the bow suggests that this break is likely to have occurred as a result of the torpedo impact from the Burns. A number of what appear to be small boilers or heat exchangers litter the seabed to the rear of the bow. This would suggest the location of the break to be slightly aft of the conning tower, given the location of the aft engine room and boilers in the blueprint plans. A measurement between the 2 extreme ends of the wreck on the dive boat sonar suggests an approximate bow section length of 70 meters. This length and the boiler room location would also match the approximate location of the initial kamikaze strike on the lower decks. So what next? The wreck is still largely unexplored, and while the bow section is large, it only accounts for less than half of the overall ship. Looking aft from the bow section break, there are a number of large debris fields, likely leading to the missing rear section. It's certainly a wreck with many more secrets waiting to be found, and one we'd be keen to see again. Just as General Douglas MacArthur once proclaimed, we shall return.